Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhattvameva Tvameva Vidyadravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We just completed the 11th chapter of Panchadashi that involves Brahmanande Yoganandaha. So these last 5 chapters of Panchadashi, starting from 11 all up to 15, related to the Ananda aspect of it. The first 5 chapters deal with the Sat, and the next 5 chapters deal with the Chit, and that's called Deepa Prakaranam, and the first one is called Viveka Prakaranam, where one has to distinguish what is real and what is unreal or apparently real. Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. And in the final 5 chapters, we are dealing with the Ananda aspect. And there is a consideration that this is a separate book also, Brahmananda titled, and this 11th chapter is the first chapter of that, and it is added to the Panchadashi text as a part of the Panchadashi. And this is why you can see that Vidyaranya referring to a first chapter, second chapter and third chapter of the Brahmananda. But either way, this is a Brahmananda aspect, and in the 11th chapter or the first chapter of Brahmananda, it deals with the Brahmanande Yogananda. So how to yoke my mind to that highest reality and experience using the mind while the mind is awake to that nature of the reality. So you can get the same Ananda in the deep sleep state where the mind is folded, but I do not have the knowledge of the Ananda or even the knowledge of the experience of Ananda, other than I am experiencing Ananda but no knowledge of it also. I did not know that I slept even. I did not know who I am or what I am, where I am. So space-wise, time-wise, object-wise, there is no distinctions of any kind, because the mind itself is folded, and the folded Vijnanamaya Kosha is called Anandamaya Kosha. Because there is no subject-object duality, therefore it is called Anandamaya. And since it is a quietened mind without having any distinctions of any kind, the pure consciousness is reflected in the serene mind, and all that Ananda will be experienced, and therefore the Ananda, that happiness, Ananda means happiness that one experiences in the deep sleep state, is Brahmananda only. The question was raised, who is the experiencer there? The experiencer experience like such a duality is not there, even though the experience is there. So who experiences? He says it is Swata Siddham, or it is the natural experience of the mental state. So mind experiencing itself the absence of subject-object duality, one can say, or it is self-shining. So experience is recognized by the folded mind as a history that I slept very well, I was happy. And therefore the mind recollects that experience and say, I slept very well. The statement by the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the mind, Buddhi, makes a statement in the waking state only when the mind is unfolded. But unfolding mind is only opening the mind, but experience was there as a recording in the mind that there was no subject-object duality. Therefore, there is no perception of the world. Not only that, even the subject also is not perceived as experienced as I am this. Only I am part is there, this part is not there. And this part of knowledge comes only with the mind only. So I am this is the ego, ahankara. Ahankara is folded state in the deep sleep state, and therefore there is no ego expressed there in the deep sleep state. It's not that ego is not there. Ego will be there in a potential form. That's called laya. From the individual point, it's called laya. When there is a pralaya from the point of totality, when the Brahmaji sleeps, everything goes into him, and as though the whole universe is getting folded, and there the ahankara of individuals, the egos of individuals remain as in a potential form, expressed again when it projects again with all the lokas and all that, with the jivas, that ego entering into jiva again. It's called upapravesham, the entering. Who is entering? The mind with the vasanas in the potential form entering. Just as when I get up from the deep sleep state, I am entering back into the world, upapravesham, into the world as whatever that I left before, I am so and so, all that history that was before I went to sleep, whatever there is same. If I am knowledgeable of chemistry, that during the deep sleep state, the knowledge of chemistry is covered, neither I am a knowledge of chemistry, knowledge of anything, because in that state it is folded. So even though I may be a professor of chemistry, but in the deep sleep state, I am neither a professor nor a student, neither ignorant of chemistry nor knowledgeable chemistry, because to have the knowledge or ignorance to express itself, I need the mind. So I sleep in the deep sleep state as a professor of chemistry, or one who is ignorant of chemistry also sleeps there. There is no distinction of a professorial sleep or a professor sleeping or an ignorant fellow sleeping. So Nidra Vakkati, this is a song by Annamacharya also. In the sleep is the same, whether it's a king or a pauper. There is no distinctions. That is the real nature. All distinctions come with the mind only. Now, I have no knowledge of my own state also. Knowledge of Brahmananda is not there, other than that I enjoyed it. That is recollection from the mind. Now, is there a way to experience the same Ananda with the mind awake? So whenever the mind is awake, there is a duality, and if I can somehow, quote unquote, the duality is removed. How do I remove? When objective knowledge is not there, I am only subject without a knowledge. Therefore, in that state, I am is there, but I am, this notion is not there. But whenever the Vijnanamaya, the Buddhi is there, it's always the Buddhi. So I have to re-educate the Buddhi that I am not all this, I am pure consciousness, and turn my attention inwards towards that. That yoking the mind to that I am, which is free from all agitations and identifications, that is Yogananda, and that is Brahmananda. One experiences that. Not only I have to experience it, I should have the knowledge of that experience that I am Brahmananda. So knowledge can only come to the mind by Vedanta, Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So all are packed into that. And in this chapter, we are going into a state where one is not matured enough to experience or to have the viveka. What is his state? So he is enjoying the Ananda in the world as I am this, I want that, I want that, I want that, so on. Now, what should these are? In fact, the millions of people are only in that state. So, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatatapi siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvataha. So, Krishna gave a statistics of thousands of people, only very few people are interested in this to know what is the absolute truth. And even knowing it, striving to arrive it, and understanding and abiding in the knowledge becomes even tougher because of the past habitual indulgence in the world. Therefore, it's extremely difficult. Now this 12th chapter is essentially deals with the Vishayanande Brahmananda. So how can I, a normal person, who is, we call it from the Vedantic point, Manda Purushaha or Madhyama Purushaha. So Manda, Madhyama, Uttama is a classification by Gaudapada. So Uttama Purusha is like Nachiketas, the cases of the Kathopanishad, where he doesn't need any of the objective happiness, he wants only that and that alone. So Yama offers everything to pursue the Nachiketas to go after that, but he rejects everything, saying that they are not permanent. I don't want that. I want only that which gives me eternal happiness. So that kind of dispassion towards the world can only come if I have maturity of the mind. If I am not mature enough, that is essentially Manda Purusha. In the Manda Purusha, there is a gradation of people in that, and on what category I fall, depending upon that, one has to evolve. So this chapter, 12th chapter, starts with the student doubt, sir, what are going to do with those people? So you should have compassion enough to teach them how to evolve from that state. So this is a student concern about those people who are not in a position to listen to Vedanta, or always in the objective world, running after like a rat race, so continuously struggling hard to find happiness in the world where it is not there. That's what we have been doing in the past life. That's why this life has come. So what about those people who are not able to turn their mind? So how do we help them to evolve? This is the concern of the student. So that's why the chapter starts with a questioning by the student. We'll do the verse number 1. Nanvevam vasanandat, nanvevam vasananandat, brahmanandadapitaram, brahmanandadapitaram, vettu yogi nijanandam, vettu yogi nijanandam, modasyatrasti kagatihi, modasyatrasti kagatihi. Let's start together. Nanvevam vasanananda, brahmanandadapitaram, vettu yogi nijanandam, modasyatrasti kagatihi. So this is a doubt. No. So nanu means, say I have a doubt here, or objection or doubt. So whenever something nanu comes, is always either purvapakshi or a student expressing a doubt here. Nanu evam vasananandat brahmanandat apitaram. So this brahmananda that you have been discussing is better than Vishayananda. So any objective knowledge is not as good as the Brahmananda, and that Brahmananda is better than Vishayananda. And yogi vettu, yogi understand this. Why it is so is going to be described again elaborately in this chapter. So student says, a yogi who has gone through this process and able to purify the mind and acquired a purified state to inquire into that, and who am I and what is this world, in that, and abiding in the knowledge that I am Brahmasmi, that which he gained through Sotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nidhyasitavyaha. That means having listening to the scripture for a prolonged length of time under a competent teacher. And who is a competent teacher? Who himself learned the scriptures under his guru for a length of time until it is crystal clear, so that he can not only understood, able to communicate that knowledge to those people who approach him for the knowledge. He doesn't go and tom that I am going to teach. In those old days, student approaches, says tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. You go to a teacher and ask appropriate questions to gain the knowledge. This is Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. So here says that yogi, he has understood and can gain the Ananda, which is much better than all Ananda. Why I had to go for that? Because that is highest happiness. Why I need highest happiness? Because I am looking for happiness all the time. So whenever I go after some objective happiness, I am happy, but unfortunately that's a limited happiness. Then I want something else and something else and so on. So therefore there is a never-end struggle to gain happiness from the Vishayananda for satisfying the vasanas. So a yogi knows that the Brahmananda is better than Vishayananda, and therefore he establishes and goes after that. So Vetya Yogi Nijanandam, he knows that the happiness comes from his own self, then he doesn't have to go in search of happiness because he is the very source of happiness. So if you already know that you are the source, why am I going out there? So that is the question, and he knows. So Muda means the one who does not know that happiness comes from himself and looking for happiness all over the place where it is not there. So that's why we call him a Muda. And whoever is going after, he may be a great philosopher and a teacher, or maybe a PhD in many subjects as Narada was before he approached Sanat Kumaras. So, but he does not know that the happiness comes from my own self. I don't have to go in search of happiness. So as long as I am searching for happiness, I am Mudaha. So Mudasya Atra Asti Kagatihi. So one who does not know this, that this is the happiness comes from the oneself, and this happiness is Brahmanandam, is the highest happiness, and this better than all other happiness. One who does not know what is his fate, asya asti kagatihi. So what is the fate of this person or these people? So he asked the teacher, sir, please tell me what he has to do. How can we help them? Because I am concerned about them. So here the teacher is responding. Dharma vashat eva. Dharma vashat eva. Jayatam priyatamapi. Punah punardeha lakshaihi. Kim no dakshinyato vadam. Together, dharma vashat eva jayatam riyatamapi punardeha lakshaihi kim no dakshinyato bodha. So the teacher is responding, dharma adharma vashat eva, because of dharma and adharma. So the merits and demerits of that are done in the past, that's called dharma adharma. So eva, because of that, jayatam mriyatam api. A person is born and also dies according to dharma and adharma. So what is dharma adharma? Whenever I perform an action with an egocentric attitude, not only I get a result, a tangible result which is immediate and which is depending upon the type of action that I get, but not only that, depending on the results and my reaction to the results, I have, yes, I like it, I don't like it. So raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes, are called vasanas, are formed along with the result. So I react to the results depending upon the nature of the result and my attitude towards that. So therefore, in that state where whether I like it or not forms of vasanas, and that vasana helps me to go after things I like and avoid things I dislike, and again when I perform an action that I like, then I get reinforcement of that vasana. So this goes on, and that which vasanas that are not exhausted are the vasanas that will take me, and that's called sanchita karma, and I'll have to take birth in order to exhaust those vasanas, and I will select an environment conducive to exhaust. So I'll be born in an environment that is where I can express my vasanas.
Not only my vasanas, there is a samishti vasanas. That means not only my parents' vasanas, my siblings' vasanas, my all other things that are associated in which I am in that group environment, all have their own part in the play. Where I am born, how I am born, what I am born, or how I am being brought up, all that are planned in that way. The action, because of the human being, has a will to act. So when I get a will to act, I perform an action willfully, then I get again vasanas that can be exhausted in this life or put into my account. So this goes on, and that's what is called dharma or dharma. Depending upon they are good vasanas or bad vasanas, I have to be born. So depending on that, dharma, adharma vashat, because of propelled by, so I have become, I cannot avoid it, I have to do it because I am being propelled by that. Just as a chain smoker has to smoke because of the vasanas that are formed that propel him to do. Even though he knows that smoking is bad, he has learned everything, but the temptation to do it comes because of the impression in the mind. If I had to go against my vasanas, I should have the will to do it. I cannot suppress the vasanas, I have to sublimate the vasanas, but I can do it by intellectual conviction. That means against it's like a river is flowing at 4 miles, that is the vasanas driving me at 4 miles. I can put a boat and motor to it and go even against the upstream, but it will become slower because I am going upstream. Same way I can go against the vasanas. Vasanas is what I have is prarabdha. What I do with what I have is called purushartha. A human being can develop by discipline a determination to go against his own vasanas. So vasanas are the one that provides an environment, and what I do with the environment is my present action, and by changing my present action I can go against the vasanas. So even though my vasanas wants me to smoke, I can go against the vasana and say, because vasana is not good, is not healthy, I have to stop this, and with the conviction, if I have the will to act, then I can go in spite of the pressure coming that I have to smoke. Slowly, the vasanas get neutralized, then I go out of that vasanas also. Here he is saying dharma adharma vashati eva jayatam mriyatam api. So one is born and also dies according to prarabdha karma. So here we have to be careful. Some people ask me, say, if people are dying by terrorists, somebody is killing, but say, is it a prarabdha or is what is that comes under? So as a general rule, if I have no control in the situation where I can fight back or do something, if I have no control on it, then it is part of prarabdha only. So even though terrorists may be a vehicle there, but if I have no control in the results of the action, then it is the prarabdha. But if I have control, I am willfully going there to get trapped in that, then there is a purushartha also involved. Then I have to prarabdha plus purushartha coming and reinforcing whatever. So if the wars are there, when I am propelled to fight in the war because of my past, then it's prarabdha. But if I am deliberately getting into the war, then it's a purushartha. I am accountable for this action as well. So you are careful where prarabdha comes and purushartha comes. If I have a control, then there is a purushartha involved. If I don't have a control, then it's only prarabdha. It has to be exhausted. So here dharma vashat means by propelled by, I have no control on it. Dharma vashati eva jayatam mriyatam api. One is born and also one dies and goes into. This is not equivalent to committing suicide. Mriyata means natural death that happens. It can be natural because of the body or because of force due to tsunami or something that beyond my control. That's part of the mriyatam api. So dharma pashateva jayatam mriyatam api punah deha lakshaihi kim no dakshinyato. So again and again I am taking a body conducive to exhaust those vasanas. So here the Vedanta doesn't say the evolution of the body is different from evolution of the soul. So we have no problem with the Darwin's theory of evolution. Like other religions, we have no problem. So they have problem because they think this is only first life. So because we have past life continuously from the beginningless only we are there. Jivas are not created. Jivas are there because ignorance is anadi. What is ignorance can be eliminated when one evolves. But here I am born because of the past only. So punaha. So I am taking a birth again and again to exhaust the previous vasanas that are formed in the total account that I have. This is called sanchita karma, total balance, of which I can only bring into this life those vasanas that are ready to germinate or to be exhausted in this life. And to exhaust those particular vasanas, I need a particular body. So I enter into the womb of particular body conducive to exhaust the vasanas. So the body evolution is different, whereas soul evolution can go backwards. If my vasanas are something that I can only exhaust in the animal body, then I had to be born in that. So we have a Jadabharata story in the Upanishad where he will be born as a deer because of the vasanas, but he had already evolved to that, so he taking a detour there as a deer to come back again and to exhaust those vasanas. So the evolution of a soul is different from evolution of the anatomical evolution. We have no problem with to the degree that Darwin's theory, but only the soul evolution is different from anatomical evolution. Darwin may not have the belief in the soul transformation and or the transcendence of the soul, but we have a punaha means again and again I am taking a body conducive. So who is that I am? I am a jiva taking the different bodies. That's what punaha deha lakshaihi. So I am taking the particular bodies that are. So now what should we do with respect to it? So kim no dakshinyato vada. So you are worried about these people. So many people are taking birth and death. So panarapi maranam, panarapi jananam, jatare sayanam, ya samsare bahudustare krupaya apare pahi murare. This Shankaracharya says this is again and again, and we have been born like that in the last life also. But somehow, because of the grace of the teacher, we are able to lead towards the higher. Once you approach Vedanta, that becomes a vasana, and even if you have not realized in this life, this becomes a seed to grow again. So the past samskara will be coming in, and as Krishna answered this question in the 6th chapter, you will be born in a conducive environment for which you can go rapidly in the next life with all that. So nothing will be wasted. So the even little bit of this will be helpful for the growth of an individual. So punar deha lakshaihi kim no dakshinyato vada. So why are you worried about them? Why are you about thousands of millions of people who are being born and again and going through life stream? And why are you worried about them? And that is essentially is said here. And Krishna essentially says this in the whole chapter of Gita also. Astivo nujitshutvad dakshinyena prayojanam tarhi bruhi samudaha kim jignasurva paragmukaha kim jignasurva paragmukaha. Together,
Astivo nu jitshutvat dakshinyena prayojanam tarhi bruhi samudaha kim jignasurva parangmukha. So astivaha anudikshutvat. So one can bless them if blessing them or redirect them helpful, dakshinyena prayojanam. Then having compassion to them will be helpful if you can bless them and redirect them. So they should be amenable for redirection. So essentially it depends on them. So you can only help them, those who are seeking help. So here that's what he says. Tarhi bruhi samudaha kim jignasurva or parangmukam. So here he differentiating two types of people. Here is of those people who are interested in this, are they? Two types. One is the mudaha jignasuhu. Are they interested in Vedanta? Then only you have to help them in that. Or be paranmukha, or they are interested but they are always in going after, and you say, I am interested but I don't have time. You hear this a lot. I am interested in Vedanta but I am not able to find time. That means what? I am interested in other things more important than this. That's essentially what is parangmukha, means is interest in the enjoyment outside is become more and more because of it. Some people cannot because of the pressure of the family and all that, where he is not able to get out of the roles. In that case, there is a methodology can be, while he is doing out, he can start doing prayer, and Lord will take compassion to find an environment for him to turn inwards. So this is essentially trying to classify these two people. One is jignasu, one is interested in knowing and doesn't know, but he has no knowledge of it. Other one is going after objective knowledge, but in a way is interested. So these are the two people we can try to help, and that's what the teacher is going to talk from the next sloka on. So this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.